Hello, this is E-Soup, aka Specific Soup, and there is a new Sleep Token song. I absolutely loved Emergence, so I thought I needed to jump right on this and react to it. When I saw it, it was a little bit late. I didn't have time to do it last night. I was like in bed and I saw they had posted, and I was like, okay, cannot do this now. But I finally have a chance to sit down and check it out. I don't know anything about this song except that I've been seeing that there's some responses to it that people are saying it's sad. So apparently this is a sad one. But I don't know what that's gonna sound like. So I'm just gonna dive right in and find out. This is Caramel by Sleep Token. We got the flag again. But like inside. It's on fire again. Like tinkly sounds, like a lullaby or something. Hold on, I gotta go back and turn this up. This is very different for them to start the song like this. It really has this like lullaby music box feeling, and we're going right into kind of the like sultry voice kind of vessel. On the grapevine, they can sing the words while I cry into the baseline. Wear me out like Prada. Oh! I wasn't expecting this. You know, I just want to say, when Vessel sings in this particular tone, what's the song? There's a song of theirs. I forget if it's Chokehold or a different one, but there's a song from their last album where he goes through most of the song not singing like this, and it's like a bit heavier. And then you get to the end, and there's this whole part where it's more of like a sultry voice. And he kind of sings in this tone, and when he sings this way, you can actually hear his British accent come out in his singing. And it doesn't happen otherwise. It's like he just started this song on this note, like, right off the bat. And this is interesting with this beat and everything. I wonder where this is gonna go. Ah, caramel. That's where that comes in. Huh. Woo! Okay, I just heard the line, guess it's what I get for trying to hide in the limelight. When I'm first listening to one of their songs, it's kind of hard for me to pay attention to the lyrics. But I know that, like, there are some feelings in this song, and if I don't talk about it that much, it's just because I'm trying to pay attention to how it sounds, and I might be missing some lyrics, but I definitely heard that one about the limelight. Let me go back a second. Ooh. I love all of the tinkly sounds in this, almost like xylophone-esque, but not. It's like it starts out and it's kind of like a music box, but we carried over some of that sound into this part too. Like, yeah, like a xylophone. Ah, the stage is a prison. Okay. I know very little of the lore, and I know that that's present in pretty much all of the songs, but this also feels like a song that might be about the real-life experiences of the singer or of the band in general, especially since they try to keep their identities concealed, but that doesn't really, totally work out, and it might sort of be about, like, fame and being in the limelight and the weirdness of all of that. So I'm kind of getting, like, vibes from this song that this is about, like, I'm sure that the lore is incorporated into it too, but this feels like it's very much about real life for the band. Here we go. Ooh! I wasn't... What are we doing, computer? I wasn't expecting, like, a full-on screaming moment in this song. Like, we're pretty close to the end, and I didn't know if we were gonna get one, so this is awesome. With the screaming in the background. This part. Dancing alone to the rhythm, the stage is a prison. I thought I got better, but maybe I didn't. Oh, there's the weird glitch happening again. Again, because I don't know Sleep Token lore, this doesn't mean very much to me. I feel like I'm looking at something from, like, a Dark Souls game. Although that's kind of how all their videos are for me, honestly. So, like, the glitching out is interesting. It makes me think that this is something that happened in this place in the past. Or it's, like, something that's going to happen there. Like, it feels, like, out of time with the main video that we're presented with. And the other one for Emergence was like this, too. There was a little glitch at the very end, and there was, like, I think one soldier guy fighting something. Now there's a bunch of guys, and there's a bunch of, vaguely Lovecraftian monsters. But I don't know the Sleep Token lore, so I don't really know what the monsters are, what they represent, who the soldiers are. If anyone does know, or if it's all just guesses at this point, I have no idea. But this is such an interesting song for them, because it, like, more heavily featured an aspect of their music that usually is, like, the smaller part of the song. Like, usually it's, like, a lot of their music has mostly clean singing and only a little bit of, like, harsh vocals or heavier stuff. But usually the songs are, like, a little bit heavier and a little more rock and a little less pop for, like, 3/4. And then there's a quarter that will do something crazy or go into something more pop or go into something softer. At least the stuff by them that I've listened to generally is, I feel like, is like that. It's the way that this song is like it's so much a pop song that the rock parts and the harsh vocals are the surprising part instead of the opposite, which is kind of like usually my experience of them. So that's interesting. But that makes sense, I guess, for like well, I don't know. It's like a sad, introspective, dark song, but it has like the pop structure, like it's kind of fun sounding. So if I hadn't seen people saying this was sad, and if I was completely not paying attention to the lyrics, like there was a point where I started really noticing them. I think I would have noticed something, but if I was just not paying attention to that, I would just like be bopping along and I wouldn't really think anything of it. So I think that's really cool to choose this kind of pop song. I mean, like pop fusion, whatever, but this kind of like mostly pop song to explore those themes. I really like that. I really like the way Sleep Token does that. Like, there's always something that you don't expect. And I think if you listen to them enough, you expect to be surprised. And so it's like they keep having to come up with new ways to surprise you. But I think they do that successfully. This was really cool. It's not like an immediate favorite for me. Like, I think Emergence was like immediately just absolutely mind-blowingly amazing. And I think I'll have to listen to this one a little more to fully get into it. But I really liked it. You know what I'm going to do though, is I'm going to look up the lyrics and actually talk about the lyrics in this reaction. Because I do think that they're important. I don't know the lore, but this one has me wanting to explore the lyrics in my reaction more. Because I missed a lot of them. So let's do that. Count me out like sovereigns, payback for the good times. Oh, the sovereign is a British gold coin. So the whole thing about payback could be playing with that. Okay. Right foot in the roses, left foot on a landmine. I'm not gonna be there, tripping on the grapevine. Oh yeah, grapevine could be about gossip. They can sing the words while I cry into the bass line. Now I know these are unreviewed annotations on Genius and the song just came out, but this seems pretty compelling. They can sing the words while I cry into the bass line conveys a disconnect between the audience's experience and Vessel's internal reality. And seeing as the song might be about like the weirdness of fame and being in the limelight, I can definitely believe that. Wear me out like Prada, devil in my detail. Fame is a double-edged sword. I swear it's getting harder just to exhale. Backed up into corners, bitter in the lens. I'm sick of trying to hide it every time they take mine. Oh, take mine, backed up in corners, bitter in the lens. Hide it every time they take mine, like take pictures of him. Like the singer doesn't want to be in pictures. He doesn't want people to know like him. It's about the music. It's like about the concept and everything. So stick to me like caramel. If it is a song that's like addressed for the fans, stick to me like caramel could be like stick around, we're not going anywhere. It's an interesting choice to use like candy as the metaphor for like sticking with someone. Like, yeah, candy is sticky and it's sweet. It also can be bad for you, or like the stickiness can be too much. It can be like cloying. So he's saying stick to me. Maybe it's saying like the band isn't going anywhere yet despite these problems. However, there have been these internal struggles, and I do feel like it could be saying like sometimes the fandom is too much or too sweet or too sticky, like candy. That actually makes the name of the song and like the central metaphor make more sense to me, because stick to me like caramel, like using the candy thing. At first I was like, okay, it for some reason it seemed a little bit funny to me, like, oh, they could have chosen a different way to express this. But thinking about that now, like, no, it makes so much sense with the way that there's like good and bad connotations to candy. Walk beside me till you feel nothing as well. My thought on that line was just like that basically the speaker is saying, I feel nothing. Walk beside me until you feel nothing as well. I don't know. They ask me, is it going good in the garden? Say I'm lost, but I beg no pardon. Oh yeah, well they have the song Take Me Back to Eden, the Garden of Eden. See, I don't know Sleep Token lore. I didn't think Token was like a he. It says framing it as a question asked towards him. Token signals. I thought like you have Vessel, the singer and the one who writes the songs, and I think two is the drummer. And I don't know if Vessel, like, does everything else, like, different instruments and stuff. And then I think they have additional people who are, like, their touring band. But basically, I think that it's Vessel and 2. So I didn't think of Token as personified. But maybe that is also, like, a character in this lore? I don't know. But yeah, this does make it sound like whoever's addressing us in this, Vessel, Token, however you phrase it, that they're, like, in the garden now. Say, I'm lost, but I beg no pardon. So, like, he's lost in the garden? Like, that's not where he is meant to be? Or he's just in the wrong place in the garden? Up on the dice, but low on the cards. I try not to talk about how it's harder now. Okay, yeah, this says he considers his fortunes to be a double-edged sword. Right, like, being fortunate, but there being a downside to it. The dice and the cards. Yeah. Can I get a mirror side stage, looking sideways at my own visage, getting worse? Yeah, just more of, like, the fame is so hard to deal with. Every time they try to shout my real name just to get a rise from me, acting like I'm never stressed out by the hearsay. During a concert, someone in the crowd was yelling the members of the band's real names. I see. Now, I know that, like, their identities have been leaked, or I've heard that, like, you can just look up the band and it'll just say their name somewhere and it's, like, not hard to find. And I have no, like, if I knew the names of the people in the band, like, I wouldn't care. Like, that doesn't really mean anything to me. Like, I don't know, it's just like I'm not gonna do anything with that. But I get that they don't want their identities out there, and they kind of already are out there. I still think that overall, the thing about being like a faceless band is that even when it gets to the point that somebody found out who you are, there are going to be lots of people who listen and never try to look up that information and never know, you know? Either they're content with not knowing, or they don't think to look it up. It doesn't occur to them, whatever. And there will be, like, casual fans who just stumble across you, and they're never gonna, like, know who you really are. So I think that they could still be said to be successful with their, like, unidentified band, you know, behind a mask, like, anonymous thing. Because there's artists who do that while at the same time knowing that anyone can Google it and find out who they are. But they still, like, if they're out in public, their face is still not going to carry as much recognition as a famous person as someone who didn't do that. I don't know if that helps any. It's just something I'm thinking about because I know people were talking about their identities being leaked. They obviously didn't want that, and that's unfortunate. But I think at this point, they can still be, like, sort of anonymous to an extent, because a lot of people are still not going to know who they are. But also, I think, if you're in the limelight, even as an anonymous person behind a mask, you're still putting yourself out there in the limelight, so you're still going to struggle with those aspects of fame, even if people don't know your real name. It doesn't really totally shield you from, like, experiencing, you know, people taking photos and people, like, just idolizing you in a celebrity kind of way, and, like, just being out there in front of all these people all the time. I think that the anonymity doesn't totally shield someone from that, so that experience is going on regardless, and I guess it makes it worse, and it adds another element when people try to leak their identities. Overall, I'm finding it really interesting that they did this song and, like, directly addressed the effects of fame on the group, on what they do. Acting like I'm never stressed out by the hearsay, like, more of the same. I guess that's what I get for trying to hide in the limelight. Guess that's what I get for having 2020 hindsight. 2020 hindsight refers to how Vessel has always understood the consequences and the consequences to come from trying to hide his identity while seeking fame. Okay, right, like, kind of knowing that eventually people are going to find out who you are, and you're still going to be in the limelight regardless of if you're concealed or not. That's kind of like what I was saying. Everybody wants eyes on him. I just want to hear you sing the top line. A lot of other musicians do want the fame and the recognition, and they just want to experience the music with their fans. Yeah, and if you don't think I mean it, then I understand, but I'm still glad you came, so let me see those hands. Okay, like, just more about the fans. So stick to me like caramel. I'm fallen free of the final parallel. The sweetest dreams are bitter, but there's no one left to tell. Oh, and the sweetest dreams are bitter, more of like sweets, like caramel, candy. It's bittersweet. A final parallel. Yeah, I'm falling free of the final parallel, which could be referring to the last line of latitude being the north or south pole. It could be like a A loss of control. We're entering a dreamlike state. Interesting. There's no one left to tell. Well, you know what? The way that I might interpret this line, but there's no one left to tell. I mean, one, when you're famous, it kind of isolates you from like real relationships with people that maybe you were close to before. It just puts you in a different kind of situation. But two, through their music, they've already told people so many things. It's almost like, well, we've told everyone everything. There's no one left to tell, because that's part of it, is like how Vessel through songwriting and everything has like put himself out there to the masses already. So like, who else is there to tell? Too young to get bitter over it all. Too old to retaliate like before. That makes sense. Too blessed to be caught ungrateful, I know. I think just more of like being in a weird place with that feeling of fame and like, well, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna do that. I guess I have to be, it's like feeling like it's unfair to be ungrateful for it. So I'll keep dancing along to the rhythm. This stage is a prison, a beautiful nightmare. Yep, the limelight stage is a prison. Okay, I think this might be like the screaming part. I don't know which they were screaming, if it's the parentheses or the not parentheses, but I think it might be that part. A war of attrition, I'll take what I'm given. Attrition is like, it's like giving in, right? Okay, war of attrition, a war that stops only when one party cannot go on, usually as its defenses, weaponry, or spirit have been broken down. This may be about the battle between creating art or giving up, especially in the face of leaks of the band's identity. I'll take what I'm given is probably like, okay, our identities have been leaked and some people aren't doing what we wanted, but we have all this fame and we're getting to share our music anyway, so like, I guess I'll take that. The deepest incisions, I thought I got better. Okay, and apparently Vessel has hinted about that he used to engage with self-harm in the past. So maybe like recent events have made him either go back to that or want to go back to that. I mean, my first take hearing that was just like, the deepest incisions, I thought I got better. What I think of is like, I had these wounds before and I thought I healed from them, but it turns out they're like still there or they're still affecting me. I could see that being either or like both ways. Thought I got better, but maybe I didn't. Tell me, did I give you what you came for? Like, you know, the fans, did you get what you came for? Ah, and the song is very unconventional for Sleep Token. Like I said, departing from their usual sound. This line comes shortly after a heavy breakdown and screaming vocals, so Vessel might be asking if he gave them the heavy music they're used to and might expect or even demand from him. Ooh. It's very meta. The thing about Genius is I always have to say I'm reading people's interpretations. I don't need them to make something of this song, but they definitely help, especially because, like I said, I didn't know the Sleep Token lore. But reading that makes sense to me. That doesn't sound like they just pulled it out of a hat, and I like that the song could be doing like a meta commentary on itself and on the expectations of the band's sound. I wish it all away, terrified to answer my own front door, probably because, you know, there's always stuff going on, somebody showing up when you're famous. Yeah, I can imagine. I thought things had changed, missing my wings in a realm of angels. Okay, there's a line in Euclid this might reference. I don't know if I've listened to Euclid. He's always been the one to help others, but now that the band is blown up, perhaps he feels alone or abandoned by others. I thought things had changed, but everything's the same, so I'll keep dancing along to the rhythm, the stage is a prison. And then it ends with the deepest incisions, I thought I got better, but maybe I didn't. Yeah, so I guess that, like, there are things in the past that emotionally affected him, and he thought he recovered from those bad habits or intensity of the feelings, or, you know, a mental illness thing, or whatever that's about exactly. But probably being in the limelight and having these issues with the leaks and all kinds of other things going on, I can imagine that would bring up past wounds and make it harder to be recovered from something, or make it harder to stay emotionally healthy with just all of the madness of everything going on. Yeah, wow. I'm really glad I looked at the lyrics in full like this, and like I said, even though the stuff on Genius, who knows whether the comments are accurate or not to what the intention was, but I think they don't feel like completely out of left field. I feel like they're pretty grounded in reality, unlike some comments that I've seen on Genius Lyrics. So those were helpful to just piece through what certain things could mean. And that just makes me like really appreciate this. I definitely want to react to more Sleep Token. If you have any suggestions for Sleep Token songs to react to from before Take Me Back to Eden, or just something particular you want me to see, or if there's like a really good live performance of something, I would love to hear your suggestions. This was really cool. I'm definitely going to be listening to this again and just trying to absorb it because it was really enjoyable. It was different, but like that's cool. To me, I don't have the expectation of Sleep Token songs all sounding the same. Instead, I have the expectation that they're all going to be different. They're all going to be surprising in some way. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I look forward to hearing y'all's comments. Tell me your thoughts. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, this is eSoup signing out.